Hmm?
You doing okay in there?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing well. You're Ellie, right? We've met once, I think.
Twice. We met on the road and then over there when there was this whole thing. Mostly about you,
Oh,
actually. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm really scatterbrained with everything going
it's
on.
okay. Yeah.
What are you doing here anyway?
Well, I've got an audience with Bass. I've been trying to create a record of everything that's been going on around here. No one's really been keeping a record at all, so thought I'd take it upon
Re
myself.
Record like a written history or something like that?
Pretty much, yeah. I
Huh,
think it will help to understand everyone who lives here.
that's a really good idea. I'm surprised no one else has been doing it.
Me too. You know, as a king, would have thought Bass would have had someone been doing it, but yeah. On that, I should not keep him waiting. You take care.
Yeah, you too, you too.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me a bit about yourself and your first couple of days here in this area?
So my name's Bass. Obviously, I am the king of Bashlantis. I feel like I'm a pretty just king. I try to do what I can for my people, the best I can to keep them safe. Give them the best lives that they can. I feel like I'm pretty just. I feel like I am. I mean, as for the first days, I mean, I would say it was peaceful or like tranquil, but not really. It was a nice start. At the start, it was it was all nice and calm. Then eventually, we had like a few issues which led to the founding of Baslantis itself. We did start off as just a small little island sort of thing by the coast, eventually moving out here. Um, but yeah, it was an interesting first few days. Had a lot of interesting things happen to say the least.
I'm Muna. I'm the mother of Bass and Cherry. And I guess the first couple of days were just kind of, the normal thing you do when you have a world in front of you. You kind of just go in your own ways. I kind of stuck nearby where we all knew like the area, and built my house. Um, Bass and Cherry kind of like went opposite sides to each other, which brothers would do. And not really sure about everyone else what they were doing in their first couple of days, but I can assume they were doing similar things. It's very, very funny thinking about it. Like back then I didn't have my wings, but I was still around.
I mean, I'm related to Bass and Muna. Muna's my like mother, and then Bass is my brother. He's Basslantis King or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, the first couple of days, I honestly just kind of kept to myself over that away. I didn't do much.
Well, I'm Starshine. My connection to people, my main connection is Basarine. Um, he is my fiance. We're still to get married. We haven't picked a day yet. We're currently working on that. My first couple of days were kind of hectic. I turned this island into my home. Got my nice, lovely house. Uh, I used to live on this island with Basarine himself before he built his new home. I mostly kept to myself for the first few days, sort of away from everyone. I like the peace. I try to keep peace among my small patch of land.
All right. Hi, I'm Inverse. Um, I've been here since the start. I've observed. I've been part of everything. Um, I hope. Uh, I was here since the like naming of Baslantis, and I helped Bass and Star write the Book of Independence. Um, I think I talk to people definitely, but I mainly stay in the group of people that I know. Um, Sometimes I can be a bit extreme, I guess. Uh, but I don't know, we're chilling.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Bunny. Um, I'm here, as you can see. This is my room. Um, I'm currently a part of the End Kingdom. Our goddess is Havilo, and I am Havilu's right. Nope. Yes, I am Havilu's left hand. Um, but yeah, I'm part of the End Kingdom, and my friends are Havilu and Swoop Swoop. And also, apparently, there was a blue version of me, but I have no recollection of that.
Okay. Well, Vilu, I'm the queen of this castle, or better said, the End Kingdom. Um, yeah, I think everything like started with me and Bunny just hopping around and finding this place, and we just formed our little own kingdom because we didn't really get along with everyone else. We still do not do. Um, Currently, I am living with Bunny, Speep, you, and yeah, maybe Muna also relatively soon. Like that's the people I'm like connected to. I don't know.
So, I want to start from the beginning, and from what I've heard, one of the first events that sort of happened was that you got engaged. What was that like, and who was it to?
Um, well, I would say it was very sudden. It was they were asking me basically just to be married, and because I didn't have much to do and thought it would be a fun idea, I just agreed.
Why was Baslantis founded? Like, you
That's
couldn't have been the only founder, I'd assume, because this is a pretty sizable kingdom. So,
Yeah, God. So when we first founded Baslantis, we found it because we felt kind of threatened by. Basically, they threatened a lot of our land and weren't really treating us with much respect. So we felt like we wanted to keep our assets and our land safe. So we basically, well, by we, I mean me, Starshine, and Inverse, who were all kind of living together at the time, formed Baslantis with the signing of the Book of Independence. Uh, to have our sort of our own land, our own places, and make sure that we had a kind of our own area where we felt safe, and we could, live. I mean, for the kingdom itself, for its people, I actually founded Baslantis, and I started actually looking for a lot of people near the start, and I actually managed to get quite a few people, as you can tell, to join relatively quickly, which was very nice after the initial three of us. But
yeah.
yeah.
So, what exactly is the Book of Independence?
Oh, like I said, me, Bass, and Star, we all wrote it, and it was to declare to people that this was our land and that we would be building on it, and we owned it. The book is actually in Bass's temple at the minute. Um, but yeah, I was there since the start.
Your first set of armor, you found that it had gone missing, and I'd heard that it was stolen. What kind of happened with that?
Uh, yeah. So with my well first set of armor, it was something that was quite treasured to me because the fact is, whenever I collect things like that, like suits of armor, I like to kind of make a collection. I like the idea of having shown my growing as a person, and especially that through armor. But basically, I had it on our land safely in my little like area of it, and I came here one day, or came there one day, I should say, and I found it missing. And I searched around for a long time trying to find them, with two main suspects in mind. Eventually, finding out that was the one that stole my armor, and they actually tried to blame Cherry for it.
Who was the other suspect?
Cherry. So those two were the main suspects. Yeah. So we found out that had actually planted it near Cherry's portal, and tried to blame it on them. As Cherry is my brother, I really didn't believe the fact that they would do that to me, and also was being, wasn't always the best. And the minute we founded Baslantis in the first place, we found a lot of evidence that it was actually that stole the armor, and tried to push the blame onto Cherry.
You said that it was found by Cherry's portal. What happened after that? Do you have like a system in place for like punishment or anything like that?
Well, we had a system before finding it, actually. This was before finding it, where we took our two main suspects to a very quickly built up court just on the outskirts of Baslantis. Oh, that at the time was Baslantis. Um, and we held a trial to try and figure out who had taken the
Do you
stuff.
mind taking me to this place?
Yeah, of course, happily so.
So this is where the courthouse used to be?
Yes. Well, it was not really a courthouse. It was more of a courtyard, literally. It was a very thrown together thing back in the day. They used to be, or when we had it, we had a sort of little stand thing here where me and the current people in Baslantis would sit as we judged, and Cherry over here. It was a very, very thrown together trial. It wasn't the best, I'll be honest. And justice wasn't really served. But we did find out that none of them actually had the armor on them at the time or had anything really hidden. So we had no idea from that point who had actually stolen the armor till we started to do a further investigation with an anonymous tip later on, helping us to actually find the armor itself.
And that's when you realised that it was...
Yeah, because when we got an anonymous tip about it, we're not sure from who, but when we went looking at the location, they said it was by Cherries. Realizing that the only other person that would know its location would be, and then looking at a few other pieces of evidence, we believe it was that sent the message to try and frame Cherry.
So basically, just kind of stole Bass's armor, framed me, got me killed in the process. So fuck them. Long story short.
So what was like the next like event that sort of happened?
I mean, there was after like I had died like a while later. There was coming up to me and Inverse and begging us to kill them. I'm not sure why, but Inverse just kind of did it.
Well, it was quite a thing that just happened. They one day they just came up to me and just started begging, and it wasn't a great scene. And they bugged me quite a bit, and I killed them once, and then they kept doing it again, and I realized they were on their last life, and then with one of my firework launchers, I didn't mean to kill them. I was meant to scare them, but I did. And in the process, I lied to Muna about it. I didn't really want to tell Muna directly. Oh yeah, I killed them. So me and Cherry decided to make a plan to cover up our footsteps.
How did you take the news of the death? It really couldn't have been easy on you.
To be honest, I was pretty devastated. I didn't believe that they could have just killed themselves, and it was a hard time. Something actually bad happened during that. I was upset and angry, and I deeply regret doing what I did, but I ended up pushing Bunny off a cliff and killed him during that. Is still something I think I will never get over with, because since then, Bunny has changed. It feels like he doesn't even remember his own death.
Lou says they killed you, and when you came back, you were different. What was that like for you?
Well, as I mentioned, apparently there used to be a blue version of me, like with a blue and white mask or something like that. But I have no idea what that version was. But all I know is, I'm me, I'm here, and things have just been normal, I guess.
It all seems pretty hectic so far. I can't see how this could have gotten any weirder at all.
Well, it definitely did. My husband joined randomly, and so did Steve and Speep. They kind of also just appeared not long after.
So more people joining. Okay, so we weren't the first to just come out of nowhere.
No, which is kind of why when you guys appeared, I wasn't too surprised. Like it happened before.
I'm currently a citizen of the End Kingdom, and my main connections are Favilo and Bunny. But wait, I forgot what I was going to say something, but I forgot. I forgot. No.
So tell me a bit about yourself and what you do around here.
I'm Steve. I'm a scientist. I'm part of Baslantis. I'm Bass's right-hand man, and CIS with Cherry and Inverse, and I'm the S, Steve. And Inverse killed me one time. That was kind of funny.
So, why exactly did he kill Steve?
I don't exactly remember, though I got told that I killed him, and to be honest, it's kind of funny. I mean, him being his first day and all, and I kill him is like, yeah, kind of
How
funny.
exactly is that funny? Killing someone is not a funny matter.
Well, I mean, it's his first day on the server, and he already gets aimed by someone. It's not even my fault, so it's kind of like, and now we're like best friends. It's like, it's so funny.
Came back. How the fuck does someone just come back from the dead?
I mean, we all were pretty clueless on how they actually came back, but I mean, I was actually very happy that they weren't dead anymore. I just wanted them to stay actually, so I made them basically join the End Kingdom again and tried to keep them away from the others because I was scared that they would kill again.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock to everyone. I personally don't know how they even managed to do it. But at the time, a lot was going on. It caused me to do some stupid things. One of them being taking my emotions out on Lou, which I've apologized for. And at the time, decided that it was punishable by killing me back and even killing my dogs after I got home. It was a lot, and you know, um, I still miss them. They're still my child, but they weren't themselves.
So, what happened with the ghosts after that?
Well, basically, once they did actually return as a ghost, they actually stole again from me. They stole at the time. Actually, might he still be on me? Where is he? There he is. My multi boy. My pick. Well, at the time it was a diamond pickaxe. It kind of just came in, stole it, and just ran off before I could even notice where they went. And I was like, shit. um. So we actually sent out a search team, including me, obviously, to try and track them down and find the pickaxe.
Who else was searching for them?
It was quite a while ago. I can't remember exactly who was in the group, but I know Muna and Inverse were with me definitely for the search. We did manage to find them in the end and get the pickaxe back, with maybe a casualty on their side.
So, who was it who killed? Bass said that you killed after they stole from them again.
I mean, as I kind of mentioned, they weren't themselves, and at that point, I'd kind of realized they weren't my child, or at least that part of them wasn't. And they had taken something from Bass, who is my child, and at that point, I don't really remember it now, but I kind of just took the initiative. It was what everyone else had kind of said they would do, so I was the closest, and I killed them to get my son's things back.
So a bit a little bit later on from that, the End Kingdom, okay, well at the time it was just Bunny and Lou did this. Came and did a bit of trolling around the kingdom a bit. They placed a few things around. They went a little bit too far with it, leading to Inverse killing Bunny and Cherry killing Lou. And then also leading to the End Kingdom's temporary exile from Baslantis, just as a punishment, really, for doing some trolling and griefing, which was a bit disrespectful. But we moved on since then. I had a talk with Lou later on about that, eventually unexiling them as well at some point.
Yeah, you two seem on pretty good terms as things are at the moment, so.
Yeah, well, at the moment we're on pretty good terms. Yeah, trying to keep at the peace the best we can, because we always want to try and keep the peace. We want to keep our citizens safe. I'm sure Lou sees it the same as I do.
You were exiled from Baslantis. Why exactly?
Okay, well, basically, me and Lou, it was just a solemn day and we were looking for, a bit of fun together. No one else was really here. They were somewhere else. I don't know where they were. So you know, we decided to go along to Bassantis, and we had these like moss carpets that we basically just placed everywhere, and we found it really funny. And like we also changed like a couple of signs and stuff too, to make have like funny meanings. But little did we know that Inverse and Cherry were actually there. And then we had this like cool little chase scene where like, you know, they chased us and I was just running away, and I think Lou died, and I was like, no, Lou, what am I meant to do? Oh, and then like I remember being at like the top of a mountain and like Inverse killing me. It was funny, but yeah.
So, what did you get up to during your exile?
Oh, well, at first I was just chilling here and building my castle, but because it actually took really long, I was traveling around a bit more, trying to explore the world. And I actually met someone. His name is Brian, and he's really nice.
I've not met anyone called Brian around here, and I've been exploring quite a bit. Where does he live? What's he like?
Brian, he's a little bit silly, I would say. We met with him watching me from the distance and putting like messages down. It was really weird, but I feel like we connected really goodly, and I actually don't get the chance to talk to him. I think I never talked to him actually, but he's always there, you know?
Why was the CIS founded?
Originally there was this thing called the corruption, and me, Cherry, and Steve decided that we wanted to make sure that the corruption wasn't bad, and so we all decided to make the CIS and put our friends, us three, in front of each other. So if anything happened, it'd just be us three against everyone else. And I think, that's how the corruption all started it. And um, I think our main idea was when came. I think that's what we all came up with, how it started.
So the corruption kind of just started after ended up coming back from being dead, I guess. It came back, started spreading around where I think we had come to the conclusion around where anybody had died. So, for example, died right outside my house. There was some there, some outside my potion shop, everywhere. And CIS was actually like for the main reason CIS ended up being created was for that. But I wasn't around during the building of the area. I was more so passed out in my mother's basement, but that's a different problem.
Why were you passed
What
out?
was it? So I get these fun little hallucinations of just either shadow things, other things, eyes, and I found that a little medication I make, which probably isn't safe, but that's okay. I find that helps, kinda, and I think I took like one too many or something, and ended up passing out.
So, the CIS would have been founded around this time, and Sherry said that they were unconscious in your basement? Is that true?
That is true, but you know, with the CIS, they have their own schemes and their own shit in their basement.
What do you mean by that?
I found a hidden room behind Cherry's portal one day when I was visiting them, and to my surprise, inside was a diary confessing what really happened on the day he died the first time, and all of his belongings. And that is when I found out that Inverse, one of the members of CIS, had actually killed. They said it was self-defense, and apparently was asking for it, but they were the ones to take that final swing at them.
People lost their second life to you. Why did you kill them?
Yeah. So with that one, this wasn't too long after they had stolen my pickaxe. they're once again looking through my belongings again in my chest, and I was watching them, and I was keeping an eye on them, and then they were just genuinely all around being disrespectful and annoying, and to the point where I was feeling a bit unsafe. So, after losing my temper a bit, I did kill them. I will not deny that. It's fine. They were fine afterwards. In fairness, kind of reminds me of a similar time when I killed who had. It's kind of like God, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Okay.
They're also technically my father. But basically, yeah. So they kind of like losing control and we're just kind of genuinely messing around with their godlike powers. So to try and keep everybody safe, I did my best, and I actually managed to slay them, which is why I have my sword, the God Slayer, which is a very beautiful blade which I used to kill them with. Which honestly I didn't think was possible. It was interesting, killing your own dad, I will say. But yeah, that kind of happened, which is a whole thing. But at least the people were safe. That's what matters. Managed to keep my people safe, which is really the ultimate goal here.
Barry ended up coming from this like ritual, cause I ended up like killing my cat at one point, and then I found this book, which is The Ritual of Mirrored Life. Did this, tried to bring Toothless back, didn't, and brought Barry. I don't think his
Yeah,
name though.
they just did you not see them just come out of the circle and just fuck off.
No.
So what was up to around this time? Because no one really seems to know what he was up to.
What wasn't up to? I will admit at first he was a bit of a pest. Kind of like the all-powerful god taking control of everything he can. He used to annoy everyone, including myself. But he seemed to listen to me more. And as it went on, and everything with happened, he slowly kind of took on a more serious approach. He was one of the ones who warned me about locking her away, saying that if we didn't and they lost their last life, we could lose the world we're living in. It was a bit scary, so at the time I knew Lou was kind of closest person to, so I asked for their help and asked for them to trust me and to lock them up wherever they thought best, which ended up being the tower.
Well, after Muna came to me with basically saying that is maybe corrupted or something like that, I made the idea to lock up in my tower. It felt like the right thing to do because they would be safe from any harm. Well, that's what I thought, and it did work.
You killed Era, right?
Oh, well, I think mainly all of the server went against Error. I mean, they randomly joined, and everyone was really wary of why someone random just turned up. And I think the whole of our Baslantis group just decided that we didn't want Error anymore, and so we just decided, you know what, let's get rid of them. And I took the opportunity to.
And then after that, it kind of went quiet, and one day appeared as I remembered him. He was more himself than ever, but in a similar way to he had also lost his memory and acted like he was new to the world. At first it was fine, but then Inverse decided that they couldn't let him live, and I'll never forgive Inverse for that. There's many things Inverse has done that I cannot forgive anymore. And killing my husband is one of them.
So what did the CIS get up to other than the corruption stuff?
Well, at one point we stole Lou's diary from their room in the castle because they were being a little suspicious. And I think Muna ended up stealing it back and giving it to them. And that kind of broke our trust, I think. There was a big fight or something. I'm not sure. I was kind of just watching.
Apparently, the CIS raided the End Kingdom and stole Lou's diary, and you returned it back to her. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. I was visiting the CIS base, and they mentioned it as if it was so casual that they had stolen something from Lou, and it reminded me back of when they were still there around, and how they hadn't stolen my diary and how that made me feel. And so I decided I would take it back without them knowing. I was going to tell them at some point, but sadly, Lou kind of took it too far.
Well, after Muna returned my diary, I was livid. How dare they exile me and then steal my diary? Well, I was pretty angry and ended up killing Barry. I I still don't know how or why I flipped out so much, but they had no right to do that.
Well, when Barry died, I died as well because I think we're like life flanked or something. So he takes damage, I take damage. Uh, that's really all I can remember. I mean, I kind of woke up, looked at him, I was like, "What the fuck?" But that's about it.
So, what sort of happened with being locked up here?
Um, well, I think I remember breaking out at some point. I tried to get them back and back into the cell, but at some point they were just nowhere to be found. It was like they just vanished.
I mean, as soon as it vanished, the corruption disappeared instantly, like with a click. And yeah, I think we were right, or mainly I was right.
So, what happened with you being exiled around this time? You've been exiled for a while by now.
Well, well, we were actually unexiled by Bass himself. Um, I think it was just because, well, we haven't done anything, and you know, we have been exiled for a long time. We actually had a little party in the bar. It was nice to see everyone and see how Atlantis has progressed. Um, One thing I do have to note though is Steve made me sign some documents. I don't remember what they were exactly about, but I think it was something with a lab and some experiments he would like to run on me.
Lou
Yeah.
said that you had them sign a book uh, to do with experiments. What was that about?
There's a project I'm working on. It's very experimental and very dangerous right now. But I'm hoping to test it on Lou because it'd be funny.
So, how did the celebration at your bar go?
Uh, I that's a bit of a touchy subject. I don't want to talk about it.
From what I've been told by everyone else, your coronation was actually rather recent.
Yeah,
That seems like a pretty big event. How did that go?
yeah. So, oh, at the start, it was very lovely. Everybody came to the temple. We didn't invite the End Kingdom. It was more like we didn't want them there. They were happy to show up if they wanted to, but we didn't like personally just send out an invite. We just sent out to everybody neutral and obviously in the kingdom itself. A lot of people showed up. It was very lovely. Um, had some fireworks as well, some trumpets playing, which was really beautiful. Put the crown on. It was amazing. But then out of nowhere, Bunny and Spoop Spoop kind of just came in and assaulted all of us. Actually, it was like a proper attack. I think he was trying to steal the crown, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually killed Steve, which I wasn't very happy about, to say the least. Yeah, he's doing fine now. Luckily managed to continue going afterwards, and we all managed to still have a half decent day even with all that. I did have a talk with Lou later on about it. They said they had no involvement in it and did punish them for it, which is good to hear. I do respect Lou as a fellow leader, so I feel like they do all serve just punishment for these actions.
Yeah, and if someone does something
Yeah.
wrong, then expect repercussions, sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we're gonna keep an eye on them, obviously, and make sure that we try and keep everybody safe because you never know what's gonna happen or if it's gonna happen again. So, but they seem to have quieted down for now, which is good. But we'll obviously stay on high alert just to be safe.
Well, I think me and Speed again just wanted to look for some fun, so we thought we'd go along, and it was kind of fun, but although someone did accidentally die, which we didn't mean at all. But yeah, also imagine the power we would have if we had the crown. That would be really good, but still, we just wanted to go and see what it was about, really.
So Bunny and me thought, you know what, it's getting a bit boring at the moment. So we were like, we should try stealing the crown as a joke. We give it back afterwards. Nothing happens from it. And then we accidentally got Steve a bit too involved, and then he ended up dying, and then it all kind of escalated from there.
Well, after I saw the message of Beep and Bunny killing Steve, I was pretty nervous, kind of panicking because we just got out of exile and I really didn't want to go back in. So I just had to clear my mind and go on a little walk. And during that, I found a tower. And well, curiosity struck, and I found a big build, I would say, underneath it. And that's also where I found a portal to the now called Dimension the End.
And that's lose. Something isn't adding up here.